Battle of the Nile. Flying colors. We are up to turn 10 over here. Yeah, turn 10, turn 11. And here's the situation. Interesting developments over here. For the British, they have really racked up a lot of points. They have now captured 3 French ships of the line. The Guerriere, the Conquerant, and the Sparta. Okay, plus 2 others, the Aquilin and the Sovereign, have both struck their colors, and that's these 2 ships right here. They're both struck. Okay, so the British have really racked up quite a bit. Now, it says come at a price, albeit a small price, but definitely a price. 2 of the ships, Audacious and Theseus, have been dismasted. You can see here, they are here and here. Sorry, there and there. They have been dismasted. Have some hull hits, but they're vulnerable if they were to be left on their own. But as you can see, Nelson and his ships and his fleet are moving down the line. Now, also too, Nelson's Vanguard ship was hit pretty hard in the sails as well. You can see there, they're down 10 points, 10 rigging points, only 5 left. So their speed is down. They were hit by the Franklin over here, right here, and that did the most damage. They had some damage from, I think it was the Sovereign had hit them before, but Franklin did the most damage. And then Debris is moving out. He abandoned his anchorage over here to try to move out to attack or to contend with Nelson himself. Now his other de Villeneuve over here, right there he is. He's already moved out over here trying to get the wind, keep moving in a northeasterly direction, although the wind is coming from the north. They get a little bit of movement, 2 points for navigating around there. Now, the other thing for the British over here, the Orion got itself into a situation where it had to rotate it had to turn and rotate onto a shoal hex. And when it did, it ran aground. So it actually got stuck there. Ximenes is trying to transfer command either to the Zealous, which they've had some damage as well, or to the Goliath over here, who is still in good shape after the boarding parties over there. But both of those, the Orion and the Zealous, they've actually got some rigging hits, significant rigging hits here as well. So they've paid a price here pretty good. So that's the situation for the fleets at the end, or coming up to the end of turn 10. Now, what really caught us by surprise, or caught me by surprise, was, of course, the French have lost ships. They've lost a number of ships. They've lost 5. So we've had to do a break check, and the break check came up with the French breaking off. So actually, turn 10 will end this playthrough and end the scenario. Debris, I think, has had enough. He's going to take his fleet out of action and get away from Nelson and cut his losses to just the 5 ships. So this will be the last video on them. So I'm going to do a wrap up here with it as well. So first off, as you can probably guess, the British have won a victory on here. I've got the calculations over here for the victory. Let me just bring you over here, kind of show you what the numbers look like. If I can move some stuff around here and get the shadow out of the way. There we go. So for the British, they've captured 3 ships, as I mentioned before. That's 12 victory points per ship. 36 points right there. 2 ships have struck. Each one of those are 3 points, which gives us a grand total of 42. We multiply that by the French audacity plus 1, so it gives us 42 victory points in total. For the French, the 2 dismasted ships wind up being 2.5 points each, for a total of 5. The British multiply that by the British audacity plus 1, so that's 2 plus 1 is 3. And then divide by 2 because they broke off, gives us a total of 7.5 victory points for the French. So as you can see, it's an overwhelming British victory, 42 to 7.5 for the game. So how did I like this? Generally, I like this as a solo play. Again, I have my hesitations from the perspective of a 2-player or multiplayer game, because the French are so hamstringed right at the beginning. Not being able to move, they're at anchor. British are right on their forward ships and can easily score some hits and grab some ships pretty quick. From a tactical position and the questions that I had asked in my intro video, I did kind of not solve them or answer them, but I did give a little bit of understanding to it. I think from the French perspective, whether they should stay anchored or cut their anchors and move out, I think the answer is they should probably, as soon as they can, get moving with as many ships as possible. My feeling is once these started moving, they did more damage and was able to maneuver into better positions. With the British just coming down, doubling the lines, it was very easy for the British to have a 2-to-1 advantage on a ship, 3-to-1 advantage on a ship, and just in about 1 or 2 turns could very easily knock them down to a damaged state, if not knock them out and capture them within there. So keeping them at anchor is a tough proposition. If I had lifted them when I first could, I may have been able to save 1, maybe 2 of the struck ships over here as well. Maybe did a little bit more damage to the British, or at least throwing them off a little bit. But it's hard to say. I didn't do that, so obviously I can't see it. But my feeling is, I think moving out, getting them moving is key to fighting the British over here. From the British perspective, they just got to hit hard and keep moving. They can't stop. I know in the original historical battle, they dropped anchor. Several of the ships dropped anchor, just sort of hammering. But my feeling is, with 2 or 3 ships on the French ships, they can knock them out pretty quickly, and then they can move on to let the rest of them come in and capture and close on them. So for the British, it's just keeping moving, keeping attacking, keeping the advantage up as long as possible. Because once you get down into the center, you get the Franklin, you've got the what was this? The Orient and the Torrent. Both are 1s, and they can easily outclass the other ships. So my feeling is they need to get moving as soon as possible over here as well. I do think it's a good scenario. I do think there's a few things that may be tweaked up. I did have the frigates on here. In this case, they were not a factor because the game ended soon. One thing with the setup, I'll come down here. These ships anchored in the shallows, they really are kind of stuck. They can't get out. And doing some historical reading, I think the distances between the ships are slightly too large. These are 100-meter hexes. The ships historically were about 150 yards to 200 yards apart. which are roughly 2 hexes. So I think this should be rejiggered a little bit to potentially move this ship up so it has a chance to actually move out, and the line just adjusted so it fits within a 2 hex gap between the units on there as well. There's another piece there. Historically, some of the ships, not all of them, were well. Debris had ordered the ships to be cabled together so that, if the British appeared, they couldn't, cross their lines. Some of them cabled, some of them didn't. Be nice to have some kind of a special rule for that there as well. I know the Orient was actually cabled, I think, to the Franklin. I don't remember the description of what it was tethered to. It was either that or the Torrent over here as well. So anyways, generally, all in all, good scenario. Of course, makes me want to play more. We only got 10 turns through this. Went pretty quick, actually, just maybe 2 hours or so. Very quick play. The whole mechanism can play very quick. A little bit of calculations on the firing and just double checking that can take a little bit, but movement and command and everything is pretty quick within there. I'll probably get another one going here as well. I was thinking about it, and I have some other thoughts on some other ones here, maybe with the cards, with the dual ships there as well. I might do a video on too. But for now, I'm going to put this one into the books. A British victory for the Battle of the Nile once again. This is for the 225th playthrough, so hopefully you enjoyed that. That's August 1st of 2023 that it happened. So with that, I will say thank you. Hopefully you liked this series. If you did, please like the videos and go from there. Thanks a lot.